let's make a deep dive in the world of factory ammunition and see how good they actually are. I dissect the bullets from Winchester here, and to be frankly honest with you, I wasn't impressed with my discovery. On the average, factory ammunition will have a standard deviation of 20, while handloaders, of course, trying to get the lowest score as possible. Most of the pro shooter will usually get to 5 and below. And 20 may be adequate for hunting at medium range, but usually for long range shooting, you're looking at an SD below 10, right? That's the consensus here. Actually, I'm buying those because I need the brass for my 6.8 Western. Yes, I jumped on that bandwagon, and there are not a lot of people in that wagon, or maybe 5 total. No, I'm kidding. But the only supplier for the brass right now is Winchester. So I need, the only way for me to get brass is to buy ammunition or transform WSM, which is also rare nowadays. Opening the box, I was less than impressed. All right, the first thing I realized was the bullet had varying depth of sitting depth, and handholders know how much a few thousandths of an inch, how we can affect accuracy downrange. All right, at 100 yard, whether you're 3,000 millimeters too low or too high, you see your groups opening or closing. And for Winchester to have made this cartridge specifically for long range shooting, I was disappointed. And the reason why I was disappointed is because I want that cartridge to succeed so much. On paper, it's beautiful. Let's be honest with it. It's beautiful on paper. But right now, Winchester being the only one supplying ammunition for it with a subpar quality product, to me, it's I think someone is sleeping at the wheel in the boardroom somewhere, to be honest with you folks. And if you want to win this cartridge war, you have to put quality product for people to actually realize what it. Long range shooter is a different breed. Like, we will not be happy with an MOA groups at 100 yards. For most hunter, that's perfectly fine, and rightly so. They will harvest, no problem. But when you're talking about long range shooting, you want half MOA, a quarter of MOA. That's what you're looking for. Now, I wasn't expecting this to shoot a quarter MOA, and that wasn't my goal. Whether your barrels like these bullets is one thing or not. So I'm not even going to discuss group size here, but we will stay purely on the consistency and the standard deviation. Standard deviation to me is the highest metric in predicting how well a series of rounds will perform downrange. So let's dive into it. What I did is I open up these bullets, I weighed the powder charge of all of them. I did a series of 10, all right? And also here, I wasn't impressed. I had the difference between the highest charge and the lowest charge was 0.8 grain out of 10 bullets. This will certainly affect your standard deviation, thus accuracy downrange. Then I took 10 bullets, and my goal was to completely dismantle them and rebuild them to see if my rebuild of these bullets will actually perform better than the one from the factory. Now, the thing here that I want to highlight is I didn't do anything custom to my rifle. I wasn't trying to reach a specific length, overall length for the cartridge. I just sat the bullet at the cannelure crimp. I didn't crimp the bullets, but I didn't also make a ladder test to match my barrel harmonics. So my only goal was to just, with the same component, rebuild the bullet agnostic to the rifle I would be shooting them with. So here's the complete result, and I have 10 bullets from the factory, and those are 10 bullets from the 10 other are the Audron improved AI. So here I'm gonna put the graphic up front here. The first thing, actually, I was quite surprised, is my rifle shoots these bullets actually faster than what was on the box. I think it's about, if I remember well, 50, 60 feet per second faster than what's on the box. And that was good, knowing that my barrel is a 20-inch, and I'm pretty sure they were shooting these, for the test at, I don't know, 24, sometime 26-inch barrel. And so here's the result. The factory ammunition gave you 20 standard deviation, which is normal for factory ammunition. It's not outstanding. There are some other manufacturers that usually will give you better standard deviation than this. And why I'm a bit peeved is that Winchester, coming up with a long-range shooting cartridge, output very, what I would call subpar long-range ammunition. This is, to me, it's a missed opportunity. My hand load now fare much better, and I managed to reduce from 20 to 8 my standard deviation. And that tells me that it tells me that the components are of great quality. I think the powder charge is money. I think the primer they're using is good. I think the case capacity consistency, which I didn't measure actually, it was also very consistent, and it's not all dark. So I think they are using good, quality component, but the way the bullets are put is very disappointing. Now, you may ask yourself, yeah, but does it really matter to have that 20 SD versus 8 SD? I would say yes, it does matter. And I will give you the basic numbers. You will see, well, there isn't much difference, but there is something else also happening, which we'll discuss. I ran in a ballistic solver, the fastest against the slowest bullet on the factory, and what it gives me at 700 yards is about 7 inch of drop, all right? So the fastest bullet was, let's say it's on the bullseye, the lowest out of the 10 round was hitting 7 inch lower. This happens in a vacuum without taking into account the shooter's ability at reading the wind, at evaluating the distance right, and the barrel harmonics. Maybe that rifle is not shooting half MOA to begin with, right? Maybe it's just an MOA barrel. And everything that happens at the barrel, at the shooter, exponentially open up the grip. So you may say 20 SD, 700 yards, not that bad, but you have to multiply that 7 inch with all the other inaccuracy that happens while you're shooting, all right? And will I be hunting long range with this bullet? Like with this, I wouldn't shoot past 400 yards for sure. I think that 20 SD to me is too high. I'll definitely use my own to I think to a good 600 yard. That SD of 8 is fantastic. Actually, the number was so good, I couldn't believe it. I remade another series, but this time the day was much hotter when I shot, and my velocity actually increased and my standard deviation lower. So I even lowered that 8 to 7, but I think it was mainly due to the 10 degrees difference it was between the first time I shot my first series and the second series. So that's it, folks. There you have it. That's what I think of Winchester and the copper impact. Disappointing.